good people? It's me, your host, Mama Nix, here with another episode of Little Acorns and Mighty Oaks, but with a twist today. Because today we start our Remarkable Motherhood podcast. It's about time. It's about time. It's been coming to, but we're here. All right, so before we even start, I've got 3 questions to ask and for you guys to answer. I can't hear you. I'm just going to trust that you're answering the questions. First one, are you a parent? Do you know any parents? Are you soon to be a parent? Number 1, are you very to slightly overwhelmed with all the ideas of, or even all of the tasks that come along with parenting, motherhood, the 1, 2, 7, 9, 20 children that come along with it, you know, homework and shopping and food? And number 1, have you heard all of these buzzwords like gentle parenting and intentional parenting, and you just like don't really know where to start? You're not sure if you should trust any of that kind of stuff. If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you're in the right place, because today we're discussing intentional parenting. Before we go any further, I would like for you to like, comment, and subscribe so you can get all notifications on anything else that we put on this channel. Enjoy the podcast. All right, so I want to introduce you to my amazing friend. She's helped me many times. She has a love for mummies. She has a love for families, love for connection, lots of things, nature, all sorts of things, self-development and stuff as well. But I want you to meet her, my friend Kashina, but she will introduce herself. So we want you to please, can you tell us a little bit about you, your family, what you do, and go.
And go. Hi, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, first of all. I'm really excited to be here. So my name is Kashina. I am a woman of the Most High God. That's who I am, first and foremost. But I am also a wife to a lovely husband. He's lovely. And we have 4 children together. We have 9-year-old triplet girls, and we have a 6-year-old son. And I'm also the founder of Preparing the Home. And as Nicole said, I literally love all things parenthood, motherhood, faith, nature, and specifically creating simplicity in life so that you can connect with your kids. So that's about me.
She said it better than I could say it myself. So thank you. So first of all, I'm just going to go back a little bit. So the first thing that I remember you doing was Parents of Diligence. Yeah, the YouTube channel. And I remember doing the Praying Parent along with you. And I just remember it being like very intentional, and you and Jay being very intentional as well. So with that, like, what does intentional parenting look like to you? What does it mean to you? And yeah, go.
No, I think at the beginning, both Joseph, my husband, and I, we had this thought that you just like it just kind of happens as a parent. You just kind of do it, just kind of happens. The kids just miraculously become these amazing little children. And that's it. Because the reality is everyone made it seem like it was just it's just what happened. They just came to church and they sat down nicely in their clothes, and do you know what I mean? So I had this perception that we didn't really have to do anything. Like you just kind of pray here, and then these kids just happen. And then when they started talking, we realized that that's not life. So literally, like this is crazy. How's everybody else's kid being so obedient? And game change, plot twist. So we realized that whatever we wanted our kids to be, and I'm not talking about they have to be a doctor and they must be like this and like that's not what I mean when I say how we want our kids to be, but we want them to be upstanding citizens for the kingdom of God, and on earth as well. And that all, like you said, starts with character. And for us to get from A to Z, there's a lot of letters in between and lots of things that we have to do. And we have to be really intentional about what we're feeding them spiritually, physically. We have to be intentional about noticing what each child needs, um, really recognizing their character traits, what they struggle with the most, what they're really strong at, and really working to that. And that requires, for those who are in a relationship, that requires I'm using the trying to be on the same page because we're both coming from different angles. It's been a very interesting journey for us, especially when I started doing a counseling course. We just saw things differently. But if you keeping the goal in mind, you have to work together with God holding you both.
Yeah.
And being intentional means for us seeing things and doing something about it, not seeing it and hoping that miraculously
it would just fix.
Will change.
That was literally going to be my next question, actually. Like, how do you and Jay like support each other in your intentional parenting? Like, how do you make that work? But then you bringing the two together. Like, how do you find that?
Together. Honestly, it's been a journey. It's been a real journey. We used to butt heads a lot. And from speaking to other families and other parents, usually, not always, usually you'll find the mum is the one who reads the books and listens to the podcasts and comes up with this grand, like, oh my goodness, guess what? And usually, not always, don't judge me, guys. We're not judging and don't shoot me either, men. But usually the men aren't the ones doing that because that's not their focus. Their focus is on providing for the family, protecting the family. And so trying to not keep missing, if you're watching, my hands just keep on trying to come together is a challenge. I'm not gonna lie, it's a challenge. One of the things that we have started doing, which is working so much better than before, is really honing in on our communication. So the reality is because I'm usually home with the children and our kids are homeschooled, I spend more time with them. So I would say that I understand them probably more than Joseph does.
Same here.
But I needed to learn how to relay that information to him and also be able to take on board what it is that he had to say and his input. So every evening now, it could be an evening, it might be just before we go to bed. It's almost like a debrief.
Yeah.
Okay, was there anything you noticed? Is there anything you want to bring? How did it go? What was your day? Sometimes it's, I'm good, let's go to sleep because I'm tired. And other days it's like, you see your child, eh? Just to let you know what she said to me today or did today. And from there, you can pray about it together. Just want to let you know, just so you know. But we can then talk about it together and pray about it together and share ideas together. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, it requires really good communication.
You're hearing
really
that?
Good communication.
Really good communication. That's what it takes. All right. So with that being said as well, what kind of values or principles do you guys value that you make sure, like, how do you prioritize those things as well, especially as you're intentionally parenting? So you obviously there's things that you value. How do you make sure that you prioritize them?
That's a difficult question. I don't know if I was gonna say I don't know if we have a hierarchy, but that, like, lying for me is that's a no-no. And I'm always telling the kids, look, I need to know when we're out on the street and someone comes and says, oh, but your child did this. If I ask you and you tell me I didn't, I will back you. I've got you because I know you don't lie. Likewise, if you did do it, just tell me and I'll still back you. But be honest with me. Don't have me out here backing you and you be lying. We're not doing that.
Because we're gonna have a problem later, isn't it?
There's lots of Bible texts about that too. I'm not here to Bible bash, but I'm just saying that lie is just not a thing. It's not a thing that we're doing here.
Okay.
yeah, but the reason why I'm saying it's difficult is because I think in all of them, there's different things that they find challenging. Likewise with me, the things I find challenging isn't what Joseph finds challenging. So
Mhm.
I could say, for example, patience is a strong thing, but actually for the girls, it's not really that much of a struggle.
Mhm.
For our son, on the other hand, work in progress, guys.
We'll pray for him. We'll pray for him.
But ultimately, um, as a family, everything that we do value is based on biblical principles.
Mhm.
So it's all from God's word.
We like
And
to hear that.
but from yeah, from where and what with who, it's almost like not even a jigsaw puzzle. You know, you're like, stamp, okay, this is what we're working on with this child.
Mhm.
Stamp, 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 okay.
I think it's crazy because obviously because you have so many bodies as well in the home. They're not the same. No one's the same. Like obviously in our home, there's five little people and they're all very different. So
Yeah.
but what I find is obviously what we prioritize is what we make sure we do as well during the day. Like it's we make sure that we do these things. So um so we're definitely going to cover something in character. Character is an ongoing thing. And like you said, everything's
Mhm.
based on the Bible. So we're definitely going to have that in the day as well. Um I think that's how we prioritize. That's what I wanted to find out how you also prioritize these things. But you sort of have like a very big sense of adventure and stuff. So that's also something that you prioritize. And how do you make sure that all your children get the right amount of attention, they get the right amount of experiences? How do you balance all of that, like with your wants and desires, what you want them to do, and then kind of like what they need as well? How do you guys balance that?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna answer this question. Did you see how sometimes I was like,
The thing is, but you do it so well. Like it seems very effortless for you anyway. Like I know it's not. You're very intentional with your planning. So I know that's a major thing as well that ensures that you're able to do a lot of the stuff that you do because you're pretty busy as well. But yeah, just share some things that you do, making sure that they all get a little bit of mummy, they get a bit of daddy, they get a bit of together time, they get a bit of alone time. How do you do that?
yeah. I mean, once again, I think it's everything is very intentional and everything's a balance. We went to a park the other day actually, and it was a wobbly bridge. But if you tip too far to the right, you're gonna fall off. And if you tip too far to the left, you're gonna fall off. You kind of had to balance to get all the way across. And as I was walking, it kind of reminded me of our life. We tip too far to this side and it's too focused on the kids, actually they end up spoiled. If you tip too far to the other side and you're focusing on yourself, then they're neglected. And it's this fine balance and it's constantly checking in to see is it going okay? So we do plan a lot of things, I suppose. For us, one of the things that was really important is that we got to travel with our children and allow our children to be able to see the world. And yeah, we just there's just so much
You do that
there's
so
so
well.
much that God's created in this huge world to be able to see and different people with different ideas and cultures and yeah, so that's really been a priority for us that we've recently been able to really get our teeth into
We thank
in a
God.
way. In
It's part
terms
of
of
focus as well. We give thanks.
yeah, literally. We've been able to mummy time and daddy time is really important. It actually only started with mummy time. Um, once again, be really intentional about set aside one-to-one time. That doesn't mean that we don't do things outside of that. So if you're on my Instagram, you see a lot about, okay, if everyone's doing an activity, I will do something with one of the other kids, sometimes by themselves, or I don't know, if everybody else is playing by themselves really nice, I'll be like, oh, come read to me. Or
Mhm.
it's it's just finding Nicole's words, pockets of time in the day where you can just be with them. However, in the same breath, I think it's really important to be intentional about carving out that time. The same way carving out date night for your husband. If you don't put it in the diary and you don't make it a thing,
Happen.
it's not gonna
It
happen.
doesn't happen.
It doesn't. There's so much. Do you know how many loads of laundry there is to wash?
Literally, literally right now, it is my cry. Like, anyway, so we're not gonna go into laundry. We're not here. We're intentional parenting right
Literally.
now, you know?
We have to be intentional. So if you're actually watching this and you look behind Nicole's head, you'll see this amazing calendar. This calendar, we also have as well. Highly recommend getting it. Every month we write on the calendar what's going on, work schedules, their activities, our activities. And it's now the point where the kids, the girls are getting older and they'll be like, oh, mummy, we want to go with auntie. Hold on, auntie, let me just check the calendar. And they'll get our phone because we use Time Tree as well. Don't get paid for this advertisement, but we use Time Tree too. So it works really well. They know how to get onto the Time Tree and they'll say, we have a space on the 16th of June. Can we come to your house on that day? And then they will just book it in because they know that the calendar system works. That's what I'm going to do anyway. But it's really funny how now they do that. So
Life
the
skills.
calendar system really does help. I'm telling you. And with Time Tree, people don't know, you can link it to your husband's one too. So when
No
hubby's
excuse.
out and say he's at an appointment with the kids and he needs to book another appointment, he doesn't need to call me. It's calendar. But on that calendar, you have to be intentional about everything else, like building those relationships and building those connections. It's the same way with God. We're not going to be able to build that connection with God if we actually don't spend time with Him or we don't talk to Him, or read His Word. It's the same with our husbands, our wives, if it's the other way around, the men that's listening in, and the same with our children. So yes, it is busy.
Yeah.
And if you do see my calendar, it does look a bit cray-cray, but it all makes sense. It all makes sense and
Color-coded
allows
and
there
all
to be.
sorts, you know? It makes sense.
Literally.
Good.
But even, I must say, even in that calendar, one thing that we do is we block out days where you can't do anything. It's literally like do nothing day.
Rest.
Because we recognize that life is so busy for us. Because otherwise it really is go, go, go. And the bigger your family is, the harder it is to try and fit everything in. So yeah.
Agreed. There's so many birthdays, there's so many appointments, activities, and people that family and this and that. So yeah, this calendar has been a game changer. Thank
Especially
you,
if
my
you come
dear.
from big families.
Yeah, thank you, my dear, for the recommendation. Anyway, okay, so right, so I've got another question for you. How do you prioritize yourself, like your self time, your me time, your downtime? Like, how do you do that? I mean, the reason why I asked that question is obviously we all start somewhere. When you're a new mum, like forget it. There is no me time at first. It's just all baby, baby, baby. Like forget the husband. Who are you? Like I don't even know who you are. Everybody, forget you all. Like it's just the baby. Do you know what I mean? I forgot who. I don't even know what's my name. Like there's. So, but at some point that has to change. Like, and where was that change for you? And then what's the difference between you then and you now in terms of your self-care? Might seem a bit big, much.
I think it's a big question. It's a big question. I mean, now I can start with now. Now I'm learning it's okay for me to do things that I enjoy as well. So once again, if you've seen on my Instagram, my bass journey, very interesting. I've always wanted to play the bass guitar. I don't know why.
Me too.
Guys, I'm not a feminist, okay, but there's something amazing about seeing a female on a bass guitar. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Exactly. It's just something. So I recently decided to start bass guitar lessons. Do I have time to do it? Really? But you have time for whatever you make time for. That's it. So I was like, there's a slot here. We're gonna put it in here because actually it's something I enjoy. And not just that, what it's done is I have to practice the bass guitar for my next lesson. Otherwise, it's embarrassing and I'm wasting money. But then the kids get to see it. And so with their instruments, they want to practice more too. And we've been picking out songs that we can play together where everyone plays their own instruments. And so it's just more, it's something for me, but it becomes a family affair when everyone's jamming to, I don't know, Goodness of God or Part of His Love or whatever song decides to come up.
So
Is it easy?
You're going to be doing shows?
Say that again, sorry.
Are you doing shows?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
When
But
people,
who knows? Who knows what
gonna,
God has in store?
you know, this is what we do, like the Von Traps. Yeah. You know, singing and dancing family, you know.
It's all fun. It's all fun. It is all fun. I think for the mum who's just coming out of, like you said, the early stages with newborns, it is really intense, and you do spend a lot of time focusing on baby and all that life. One thing I will say is your your time alone or the time for yourself that you need doesn't have to look in a particular way. I used to always think that devotion had to be in the morning, in quiet, by myself, with no distractions. That's not going to happen until your kids are probably at least 3 or 4, if
When
you're lucky. Do you know what I mean?
if they sleep through the night, that's if they sleep long.
Literally.
When they move out, you know.
And even when you do get it, then someone becomes sick and you start from the beginning again.
Or you add
But it doesn't have to look in a particular way. Like no one, I'm not even sure where we got this idea from that our self-care or anything has to look in a particular way. If that means while they're watching something or they're playing really nicely, you're sitting in the corner reading a book, do your thing. Do your thing. If that means, do you know what? I'm just gonna go for a walk for 20 minutes when their dad comes home.
Do
Do
it.
your thing. You might even have to go for a walk, pushing the push date with your newborn. But you know what? You're gonna be out, go for a walk. You might want to go on the phone on that time and speak to a friend who you haven't spoken to in ages because you haven't had an adult conversation for a whole day.
No.
It doesn't have to look a particular way. So whatever it is that you want to do, don't necessarily feel that you have to, oh, because I don't have a set day and a set time to be able to do it, I can't do this to look after myself. In those pockets of time, look after you as well. Because when you look after you, you can better look after the family. And you want to be able to give the best to your family. And being intentional requires a lot of energy and a lot of perseverance and determination and a lot of patience and love. And when you are burnt out, trying to do that is not easy.
Agreed.
Probably impossible, to be honest. You've got nothing left to give.
Definitely agreed. I think I like what you said, that it doesn't have to look a particular way. And I think in early motherhood, a lot of the time we forget the things that we used to like. You don't even remember who you are after a while. You kind of get all encompassed in this mummy thing, and it's like a monster, and it kind of suck you in, and you can forget. Oh, I used to like dancing. Oh, I used to like going to the museum. I used to like going to the theater, and so you need to remember who you were before. And sometimes it does mean that it changes. You change. Your taste might change, and that's okay too. But just like, don't forget yourself. And it might be a bit hard, but it's just a thing that you need to keep revisiting. That's what I would suggest as well, especially if you're new. Got a couple of bonus questions if we got some time. Yes. Can you share with us like some things that you wish people never said to you? Like those, maybe 2 things. Whether either to you or about your family or something like that. Or never asked you. They never asked or never said, never told you.
So being a mum of multiples, one of the things that we always hear is, you're done now, right? You're done now, right? You don't need to go again. And now we have our son. It's like, no, you're really done now. You're gonna dictate to me.
us about this womb.
You're done.
What's going on
Finished.
here.
Yeah, you're finished now, right? Because you're the one that's at home with all the kids. Yeah. So I think that one is I don't know. I think before it never used to really bother me, and now I'm like, oh no, you're feeding stuff into my mind that doesn't need to be there. Leave me alone. If we're not done, we're not done, and if we're done, we're done. We don't need your input. Thank you. Let God be the deciding factor in this one, please.
You know that my brother, yeah, he says to me all the time that I'm an advert for when you let Jesus be your contraception. I'm like, are you joking me, bro? That's a bit rude, isn't it? Like, but I'm like, do you know what? If that's what the Lord wants, then don't be jealous, innit? So
Like,
be jealous.
what are we gonna do?
I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. So last thing, can you give me 3 tips? 1 tip for each type of people. So we've got 1 tip that you would give to mums, whether new mums or mums. 1 that you would give to dads, and 1 that you would give to the village community. Yeah.
Okay. A tip for mum, I think, would be it's a journey. You may not love every part of it or like every part of it, but love the journey and the process in a whole.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? Like, there were times where I was like, I'm sorry, God, what were you thinking when you thought about giving me triplets? Sorry, you think it was a good idea to have one more after when you have 2-year-old triplets? So you might not like every part of the journey, but you might not like the process, but love the journey. That's what it is. You might not like the process all the time, but love the journey because it is beautiful. When you look back and you see it, and yeah, it's just such a beautiful journey. Difficult process at times. God's got you, so it's okay, even in the cray cray. For the dads, I would say, I don't know if it's a tip, but it's an encouragement. Your kids need you as well. Your kids need you as well. And I know it seems like the mum's got it, or it seems like the mum seems to know all, but they need you. They need you as well. And your input and everything that you have to share as well is so important to them. And you will be shocked how much boys and girls just can love off their dads. Like they need you to be present. They need you to be present. They need your input. They need your love. Like, don't ever feel like you're sidelined. Or that's where you're meant to be. You're not.
It's a word. Word.
And for the village, I think it would be observant. Be observant. It can be really easy, especially for new parents, not even just new parents. When you go from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 and beyond, it's a different challenge every time. And they might not always be able to verbalize what it is that they need or the help that they need. But every human could do with some love and support and connection. So just be observant, and be willing to help or support or connect. Even things like a phone call. If you could do nothing else, just a phone call so that they can hear another adult listening to kids for the whole day can do wonders. It can just do wonders. Because you can feel so forgotten, so isolated, and so lost. So for the village, just be observant of who's in your village and what they might need or want. Saying I will pray for you is great, but can we pray and do something?
Yeah, agreed. Well, thank you so much, Sheena. Thank you for being just being a willing participant. Would you like to leave any of your details where they can catch you, where they can find you?
Yes. Thanks for having me again, Nicole. So you can find me on www.preparingthehome.co.uk. You can also find me on Instagram on Preparing the Home and Facebook, Preparing the Home. I'm on all of those platforms, social media platforms. If you need any support with routines or being able to build stronger connections with your family, send me a DM.
Awesome.
Send me a DM
Details will also
and
be
here's
below.
the help.
Yeah, details will also be below linked to this video. Once again, thank you, Sheena, for your time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this and join me for many, many more interactions with more parents and just more people. We'll be interviewing more people, finding out more about their lives. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Bye. So that was our first episode of Remarkable Motherhood. And I'm so glad that I interviewed Kashina on intentional parenting. I mean, she's got so many gems on how to make it all make sense. And I'm sure that you were writing it down. If you didn't, you're so blessed because you can go back and write it out. If you've got any more questions for her or for me, our contact details are below. Once again, thank you for joining us. There will be many, many, many more. So like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell, get the notifications. Bye.